So I'm using my webcam mic for you guys, but it's a good mic for the podcast. So
boo, bootleg.
Well, that's great. Good job.
Yeah,
well done.
good job. Good job.
Professional.
So professional. What a mess. What a mess. Anyways, BoredGamer, Gio, what's going on? How are you guys doing?
Tumbril Cyclone FAQs out. That's how I'm doing.
Yeah, I noticed Gio.
I forgot about that.
I noticed Gio wore his Tumbril Cyclone t-shirt today.
Yeah, see it?
It's the
shit. Oh, I want to get a manual of that. I want that manual.
It's beautiful.
That's a really good idea, Gio, having those manuals made. Write that down.
And Bored is off on a mission.
Even though you can't see it.
So first things first, guys, if anybody has any questions at all for myself, Bored, Gio, or all three of us, exclamation point question in chat. Anna will provide you with a link. Click on that, fill that out, and we'll get to those questions at the end of the podcast. And number two, if you would like to support Redacted, we do have a Patreon as well as the shirt store. If Zorky or Zeus could post those links in chat, that would be fantastic. Yeah, so moving forward, Evocati, I think it looks like it's gonna be soon, right? Soonish?
Yeah, soonish.
Everything...
We're in the window for Evocati. We're in the window. We'll learn more on Friday, but I do think within the next couple of weeks, we're certainly look at Gio. What's your problem with Evocati? Like, are you not in Evocati, Gio?
No, I'm definitely not. That's why I've been waiting for you guys. I got Evocati fished by the fake post, so I was hoping it was already going on, and then PTU will hurry and come. So you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on the French Twitter for Star Citizen.
Yeah, I got wrecked.
You did get wrecked.
I did. I fell for it, guys.
Giving all your spaceships to some random Chinese gold farmer. Doing it!
I didn't read. That's why reading is essential. Just read the whole thing. I just seen Evocati with a date. I said, yes!
Yeah.
Reading is essential. You are correct.
No, something I want to bring up is on our last schedule update report, which was on Friday, most of the things that were pushed back oddly. Normally it would get pushed back to the 28th, which is Friday, but most of these things got pushed to the 27th, which is Thursday, which makes me lead to believe that they're trying to push for Evocati at the end of this week. I think it's very possible it could come on the weekend or even early next week. Obviously, those are all just guesstimates, but it looks like it's just within finger's reach. Like I'm poking my arms through some bars, and I can just barely not touch it. It's right there. I can feel it.
It's very possible that they might go live without all of the features in with the first Evocati build.
Right. Oh, definitely.
Just to stress test the features.
I think one of the things that they said wasn't ready or is pushed out to August something was like the render to texture.
Okay, yeah,
right,
makes sense.
So just some little things that it doesn't really affect the testing of all the other systems and isn't reliant on other systems in the game for them to put it out to Evocati. So that being said, none of the Evocati or PTU or live dates have changed. Like I said last week, I don't think they're going to change. I think that they are going to try their damnedest to get it live for Gamescom. I think they wouldn't want it past that if they can avoid it. So, moving forward on to AtV.
Small child.
Small child. I will get him to answer some questions.
Oh yeah, he has the best answers. Official CIG right here.
Official
CIG.
He
knows about as much as we do.
Yeah.
He's an Evocati, but he's not gonna tell you guys. So he's about to say something now. He took out his pacifier. Tell him about Evocati how good it is.
Is it good? Is Evocati good?
See, he's like, oh, he's just mouth wide.
He just speechless.
He's getting loose change.
I'm gonna get an NDA pacifier.
Ooh, go check. Go
check NDA on it.
God damn, you got NDA on that diaper. Shit. Tell my change a diaper.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my god, living the dream.
This week on AtV was Frankfurt and kiosks. First things first here, they're finishing off the airlock effects as the oxygen systems are coming online for 3.0. Now, they showed both online or high-tech and low-tech airlocks. What do you think? What do you guys think the differences are going to be in between these two things, other than what they look like visually? I imagine a lot of airlocks, as the game progresses, are going to look different from one station to another to whatever.
From system to system and area to area, yeah.
Right. So, what do you think the differences are? Because they did specify high tech and low tech. So, what do you think those differences are going to be?
I think the Grimhex building blocks are low tech, and so is Levski. And I think high tech is Port Olisar, and probably some of the other areas like that. I think it's literally that simple. It's just literally the building sets used. Right.
You don't think there's any functionality differences in between the two?
No, I doubt it. I mean, that would be far too complicated. There's stuff about Star Citizen which is just as simple as it sounds.
Right. Well,
hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was probably something that maybe one opens faster than the other or something. I thought, but I guess not.
I think it's just the way it looks, the building sets they've used, possibly the screens, in the same way that you'd have low-tech kiosks at Grimhex.
Could it also have any scanning systems in it? Could it have things like maybe the override systems are different, right? If you need to manually override, or
it's possible that they'd have like visual differences, like those light beams that we've seen in previous videos and stuff. But it would literally just be aesthetic. I mean, there's no. I think it's very unlikely there's any extra function to those building sets. Realistically. I mean, they want them to be as modular as possible, the world, and going, the high-tech have got all this extra functionality, it just seems a bit extreme.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. They might be going, BoredGamer, low-tech doesn't have all this cool stuff, and high-tech has all these amazing things, and it scans your eyes, and it can tell who you are in real life, and stuff like that, and I don't know.
And then, moving forward, the legacy weapons are now all complete for FPS. So I think that marks all of the FPS weapons now complete for 3.0.
Yeah, that was a stretch goal as well. They basically went, well, as we're a bit delayed, we might as well finish these rest of the legacy weapons.
Yeah, take the guys who are going to be working on that and get that done. Now later on, they also mentioned, and we'll get into that, the skins and stuff system is mostly complete as well. Mostly. It's almost ready to go. So
I'll be ready now.
It should be. It should be. Now with this,
I've been ready since Christmas last year, Saurus.
What yeah. Wow. What attachments and things like that would you like to see that may or may not make it in for the FPS weapons? Do you have anything in particular that like, for me, for example, I really would like a dazzle light on the front, right? And for those of you that don't know what a dazzle light is, yeah, it's the strobe.
See, that there's an issue with strobes in games, and that's epilepsy. And I know that games in general will have lots of flashing lights, but it's a possibility they might.
Yeah, I think
I want red dot.
I think with something like this, you're inevitably going to have an epilepsy warning anyways. I think we're going to see a lot of flashing lights in like the nightclubs and the bars and stuff like that as well.
You get it from shields
and like
as well, I suppose.
Firing weapons, all of that stuff, right? So and the amount of the population, I think, that is actually sensitive to photosensitive epileptic is very, very small.
I suppose there could even be a setting to turn it off.
There may be even a setting to turn it off, possibly. Much like they have things for different color blindness modes and stuff like that in some games, where it's a setting. But it's something I would like to see. You don't see it very often in games, and I think it would add an interesting dynamic. But yeah, so Gio, you said a red dot sight.
Red dot or a grapple hook attachment, which I don't know if they're even going to be in this game, but I think
they'll have them. They'll have grapple hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like, pew!
See, for me, when I think of grapple hook, I don't think of, oh, I'm going to grapple this and it's going to pull me. It's more of, I'm going to grapple hook something and I'm going to pull it to me. So, like, I see floating cargo, right? And I bring it over. Or I see another player and I bring it over. And then you can pull them over and then stab them in the neck like they showed before, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be real useful.
I like the idea that if you have a grappling hook, you fire it at an object. If it's heavier than you, you get pulled towards it. Like, basically.
Yeah.
And I suppose in space it's a bit different.
If you're heavier than it, it gets pulled to you, I guess, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I play a lot of PUBG, and I like weapon mods because of that. I mean, to be honest, I just want it all. And like, it's the rail system in general, and that general customizing of guns that I want. So, tangible choices for the guns, not just, oh look, there's a gun this is the best setup for each gun. Bam, bam, bam.
Right.
And everyone
you
goes,
want more of. I want to be able to create a best setup for a weapon in different specific situations.
Yes,
right? Exactly.
It has to be situational, and it has to be choices, and there has to be downsides and upsides, and you have to make choices based on your situations, not this is just the best setup. So yeah.
Yeah, because in PUBG, that's how it is now. You know, the M416, you get the silencer, the grip, the stock and the red dot, or 4 times. You know, that's the MLG setup with the extended mag, and that's the automatic win setup right there. You want to have your variety.
It's not so much of an issue in PUBG, although I would enjoy PUBG a little bit more if I did have to make choices in my mods, not just this is the best ones.
Yeah,
so,
you already know after that. There's no variety, like, oh no, this one, quiet, this one louder. It's just,
Yeah, I like the idea that compensators or whatever will give me more damage or change my bullet compared to the silencer. But yeah, obviously, silencers and Star Citizen will make me happy. Although, can you get a laser silencer?
Sorry, silence, because you're shooting in space.
Oh my god, yeah, there's no sound in space anyway, so I don't have to worry.
What
also,
about
the human eye
planet side? What about planet
side?
Oh god.
Oh, planet side. That
Anyways,
is true.
moving forward, ship weapons.
You're only 24 frames, guys. Don't worry. So we can see anyway. Come on, it's fine.
Yeah. So, moving forward on to ship weapons, the Klaus and Werner laser rifle, laser repeater, and the Apocalypse Arms scattergun are complete for their sizes 1 through 3, and now they're working on sizes 4 through 6. I think with the Klaus and Werner repeater, it's going to be very similar to the other laser weapons we have in the game. But the scattergun from Apocalypse Arms, so what do you think this is going to be? Do you think this is basically a ship shotgun?
Isn't it? Yeah, it's the ship shotgun.
Oh, it is. That's a shotgun. Ah.
Yeah, it's going to be a shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going by what it looks like and the name of it, and you combine the two, and I figured it would be sort of like a shotgun.
I love ship shotguns. Ever since what was that the Saber Comet? Was it? What was the name of the Saber shotgun setup? I forgot the name of that one with the
it's the Comet. Yeah.
Okay, Comet. Yeah, I love that setup.
So now, what were the weapons on that?
So the laser repeaters, the Klaus and Werner laser repeaters, that is the Badger. That's just a rework of them, isn't it?
If that is the Klaus and Werner laser weapons?
Yeah, they're definitely Klaus and Werner. I just double checked. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just a rework of them because they're new weapons.
Okay, so that's the Badger, Panther, Bulldog.
Oh,
yeah,
all of those. Okay, so then yes, they look much better.
Oh, that's a nice rework.
Yeah.
And the shotgun we have at the moment is a plasma shotgun from Amon & Reese. So the Apocalypse Arms one, I think, is probably going to be
ballistic, right?
Proper flak. Boom.
Yeah, that's
what I'm hoping.
The Amon & Reese is an energy.
Yes.
Energy, right? And so we're thinking that Apocalypse Arms is very much more of the traditional ballistic weapon.
Old school ballistic weapons, and I like the idea of a nice big flak cannon for ships that haven't got shields anymore, or for lightly armored ships or whatever, just to kind of almost as an area of denial, like boom. I like that idea, and because the Amon & Reese one we've got at the moment, it's just a bit crappy. I mean, it occasionally feels good against a really big ship, but it's a little bit buggy, and it's Star Citizen. It's a little bit buggy, and I want to use a shotgun against lots of small targets rather than one big one. That's the kind of flat gun. Brr!
Right. Moving forward, they were working on a VFX animation exporter from Maya to expedite their workflow. They were showing the Idris engine here, which is interesting. This is more of a back-end tool that they're working on, but is going to expedite things for, I think, damage states and explosions of especially the larger ships like the Idris.
They're very tool centric, CIG. I mean, they spent like 2-3 years tooling up and getting all this like back end tech ready, and the stuff with like Maya and stuff, or any of their animation sets or any of their tools, is they want them to be as simple and easy for them to use, but also to edit on the fly. Right. So the more that an artist can do without keep on loading into another tool set and then having to compile it and stuff. So the more they can do just in Maya without moving across, or just in the next tool set and without moving across, the better. And this sort of stuff is...
And automating some things and stuff like that. Now, that sort of leads me to the question of, do you think that we're going to see any of these tools being given to the backers to be able to use for any modding or anything like that? Or do you think that they're going to keep these as a proprietary thing to themselves?
They are definitely going to have modding after the game's released.
And they did even mention modding tools.
I say definitely. I say as definite as anything is in Star Citizen.
Right.
And they might have slightly more ergonomic or skinned or slightly less powerful tools, but it's quite possible that they will just have a integrated modding tool set that they provide to people, because they want people to make mods for their games. Yeah. Because they can say they own them, in the same way that Blizzard technically owned Dota, or did. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, it could be like an end user license agreement that says by using these tools or whatever, anything that you make you can't sell for profit or whatever, and
or without our permission. Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And I think it's great for their engine. I mean, they effectively, they're building something which is very close to Lumberyard. So modders and Lumberyard will be able to flock over to it with this much more expansive, easier to use, already built out tool set for, like, oh, we've got this procedural tech already generated for you. We've got this engine already generated for you. So it's it's interesting to know what they're going to do. Are we going to have the dev tools, or are we going to have reskinned mod tools? I assumed we'd have slightly different modding tools, but I don't know.
Yeah, would they go out of their way to, like, because a lot of the tools that they have do look fairly user friendly, or if you're going to be using them, it looks like for example, you know, Maya is its own complicated program. I don't imagine they would need to sort of dumb that down for anybody who would essentially be using those tools in the first place. So
it's possible that it might just go, well, we'll just make them plugins for Lumberyard or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. I think they'll cross the bridge when it gets a little bit closer to release.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we do get our hands on those and be able to play around with them.
I'm interested in chat and in the comments if you guys want to put what you'd want in a tool set, what you want in modding tools. Do you want exactly what the devs have? Do you want something slightly different, something easier to use? What sort of functionality do you want? Tell us.
They have added a feature to weapons, so being able to hide the weapon from first-person view while ADS, and they showed specifically the sniper rifle. Where basically the site took up the entire screen, and then they also we talked about this a little bit earlier, is they finalized the weapon skin tech. Now that weapon skin, did I make that the wrong link?
Oh, you're the worst.
Oh, I did too. I am the worst. I don't have a video for that. I know. What failure. But with the skin tech, they specifically said that the skin tech is ready, the UI is not, and for applying those different skins and everything. We don't know how you're going to get the different skins, if that's going to be something that you earn in game, or if it's going to be based off of achievements, or in Star Marine only, or whatever. And they also said that they don't have any of the skins yet. The skins are currently placeholders.
I've slowly come around to the idea of a spray shop in game where you'd go to get anything customized however the fuck you want. Like, I was a little bit annoyed originally at pink weapons and ships, but I feel that I might have been channeling Twerk's inner rage towards skins. But I've now come around to it a bit more. Like, yeah, people want to customize stuff. People do it in real life. People get mad with things. So yeah, why not?
Oh yeah,
that's probably what we'd see.
You know, I forgot the name of that. Well, I think it's Mary Kay or something like that. I think when you sell so much product, you get a pink vehicle. I mean, I see some crazy custom cars in Chicago. So if I see them out here, I've seen a cheetah print painted car. So it gets pretty ridiculous in real life. So I don't see why we couldn't do it in SC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And skins are cool. I mean, skins are a way that they could technically monetize their game as well afterwards. Now, I know some people get really angry at me for even suggesting that, but if they are after extra money and alpha UEC sales and more sales of the game on an appropriate measure, then maybe aesthetics would be. So,
they also they also talked about more mission brokers and mission features that are being worked on. Players are going to be sharing information and stuff like that. Now, I'm curious to know from you guys, what kind of missions do you think we're going to see? We've kind of touched on this before on the podcast, but what sort of missions are you hoping for in 3.0? Obviously, that can be expanded upon later on, but yeah, with the tech that we know we're getting, I would like to know what you guys think we could be, other than the standard, fetch quests.
Yeah. See, I was gonna say that like a trade mission, go get something and pick it up, but that's obvious. But I would like a mission where you go explore one of the derelict ships, the big capital derelict ships, and find something crazy inside there. It could be an alien or any other creature or something like that. I would love that to happen.
I would like to stop the proceedings very briefly to read a statement from CIG.
Okay.
This is regarding, could we please get an official CIG confirmation about the 5 to 10 systems at launch?
Oh, yeah.
And Xylo has answered, hey guys, this is a case of things being lost in translation. Chris was asked a specific question about how many systems we can expect to have online at the point that we've got most of the core mechanics completed, and we would consider the gameplay experience suitable for a larger audience. There are no changes with regard to the planned amount of systems, which are all well documented on the current star map. Also, it's important to remember the scope of the game has increased greatly since the original crowdfunding campaign. Since those early days, we've created procedural planet tech, moved from 32-bit to 64-bit, all of it leading to billions of kilometers of space and millions of square kilometers of land mass to explore, all rendered in detail that matches the most detailed first-person shooter games that only have to worry about a few dozen kilometers of playable area. That's an odd sentence. This takes time to fill out, so while it may take us longer to fully deliver and populate every system at this fidelity, rather than if we only had a handful of points of interest per system, we have no intention of reducing the size of the Star Citizen universe.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to touch on that because that is basically what it sounded like when everybody was losing their minds and saying 5 to 10 systems, this is insane. The whole thing to me is if they have all of the game systems ready, right? And everything's working and everything's all polished and there's no more actual tech features for them to put in. If the assets aren't done for 100 systems, if they're not going to keep it in perpetual beta as they add assets. They'll just stream those assets in after as they get completed.
I would say that beta is what they make by larger audience.
Right.
So when they say ready for a larger audience, that suggests to me going, this game is now testing for mainstream, or it's no longer alpha. So I would suspect that 5 to 10 systems, quite genuinely, without super hyping or anything is beta, and I think that is genuinely what they mean there. It's still not 100% clear, but that's the idea for you.
Yeah, it gives you it gives a little bit of clarity on the situation that I know a lot of people were up in arms with, and I know they were coming to me and asking, "How do you feel about this? Are you outraged? I'm outraged." And I was like, "Not really." You know, you have to look at it.
I mean, I was able to rationalize the smaller amount of systems based on content, but I still wanted 20. I was hoping for very rapid iteration if there was only 10. And I did think that's got to be a mistake, surely, but I'll roll with it. But that's good to hear. What about you, Gio?
I mean, I had a feeling it was probably a typo. It got messed up in translation. I was like, nah, I don't think that's right. But even if it was, I was thinking the game was going to come out sooner than 2020. Because right now, I'm thinking 2020, 2021 for launch. That's what I'm thinking. If that was the case with those 15 systems, I'm like, oh, they may be shooting for probably an earlier launch, even though we don't know. But my guesstimates, I'm braced for 2021. But it's good to know that more systems are going to have the original plan coming, so we don't have to hit the trolls.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy with 30 to 40 systems. I'd be happy with 20, to be honest, but I'd be happy with 30, 40, and that's what I'm expecting again on launch. But we'll see. We'll see.
Now to get back on track, talking about the missions. Talking about the mission stuff, they also mentioned that there's going to be lawful and unlawful asymmetric missions. So where you will not only will mission givers or certain missions be able to be accepted by multiple people, but only have one result, so you kind of have to fight for it or work together or whatever. But there is also going to be missions where you're going to go up against other players, and we sort of see that now in the persistent universe, but I think we're going to see more of that. And remember, with this stuff coming in, we do have the new mission tech sort of coming in, where we're going to have unlimited missions coming in 3.0. So by unlimited missions, I mean they'll continue to propagate as time goes on. But
I think there's 14 core missions that will be modular.
It's a very specific, very specific number.
Well, they said 7 to 14.
Okay.
Previously in something, and I think someone mentioned to me 14 at a different point. So that's what I'm rolling with.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
So basically, it won't be the same thing that we're doing right now, 2.6. We're just,
no,
1 through whatever, and then that's it. You go
and
back
then
and start over.
Well, I mean, then there's Comrades, there's the Darnell's and Alcoholic mission, there's the Security Post Korea missions, right? And the Security Post Korea mission is one of those ones that can kind of go forever as well, and is like lawful and unlawful side. Right, but I'm thinking we're going to see more of like, oh, go get this cargo, but at the same time intercept this cargo, right? From both sides kind of thing. Or go to this outpost or go to this derelict ship and try to retrieve a black box or an item or a person or talk to whoever. And any sort of response to that from the other side, whether it be unlawful or lawful. Try to arrest this person. Maybe one's a setup, right? So you can try to arrest somebody as they come in to do their mission or do whatever. I'm just really curious to see how they're going to make it feel different each time and not make it feel like it's sort of the same thing you're doing over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because if they're too similar, then it will feel like that. It has to be different enough each time. But I suppose there's so many locations that it could be at.
Music.
Yeah, I can hear some piano music.
Yeah, the podcast can't, but because I'm going through this now, you're hearing my dog. This is why my dog isn't freaking out.
Your dog plays the piano?
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Dude, I told you they're really easy to train. She's really smart.
You did say you were training it, and it was pretty smart. I didn't realize.
Crying 1 week, playing the piano the next.
You better believe it.
Well, it's crying, mate. It was forced to play the piano. Jeez.
Now, this next thing was also really interesting because it sort of alluded to something else. But their AI support for player characters moving cover to... That's the wrong thing. That's ahead. So added support for takeoff and landing for AI. So landing pads, ship hangars, other ships, and celestial surfaces. So moons and planets and things like that. The big thing to me that stood out from there was the hangars, right? Being able to take off and leave from hangars. Do you think we're going to see our hangars in 3.0?
Nope.
In the persistent universe, or some sort of alternative to hangars. Now, I imagine we're going to see the hangars at Grimhex, right? As a spawn location.
That would be cool if there was one on the side of the asteroid. I think now that'd probably be the first hangar, but I'm pretty sure they want to release all of them. But the asteroid hangar would go real good right now in yellow.
Yeah,
kind of on the side, but I don't know how they would do it. Like on Grand Theft Auto, everyone parks in the same damn garage.
No, so what I'm expecting to happen with a lot of the landing pads now is that you will literally land your ship on a landing pad if it's out in space, and then an NPC will get into your vehicle, or the autopilot will take the vehicle into the hangar for you. So it will lift off again and go into a hangar.
Right.
That's what I'm expecting to see from stations with hangars. Where they literally just spawns the ship in the hangar, it comes out and goes and lands on the landing pad through autopilot or through a guy that's driving it for you.
And do you think we'll start to see satellites that have hangars instead of just landing pads?
Quite possibly.
So not everything is like it would protect your ship a lot more, right?
The things that that I expect we to just see hangars, just see landing pads on are truck stops. And that sort of stuff, where it's literally supposed to be a quick stop. But maybe they will have hangars as well. I don't know. I don't know.
But all of that stuff for AI is done. Landing on surfaces and stuff like that. I know they're still working on AI moving around planet-side stuff. That being said, I think we are going to see AI in other places in 3.0. In terms of characters moving around and actually making things feel populated. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
That's going to be real exciting. I can't wait for that. That's going to make missions feel more alive too, just having AI around, especially when they get to add creatures and aliens on. If they had some of that stuff with missions now, 2.6, it'd make the missions that much more fun.
Yeah.
Now, more intense and be wondering where stuff is at.
Talking about AI, there's AI support for player characters. Companions.
The buddy system.
Moving cover to cover, following a player, etc. This is something I was not expecting to be in yet.
It's important for Squadron 42. It's like incredibly important for Squadron 42.
For them to be working on, but you can see them doing peeking and things like that. Now, my big thing with this is how are you going to control this? Are they going to use something like my first thought was inner thought system that they have now.
Yep.
But that could get really kind of confusing, depending on where that AI character is, right? It could be bringing up a whole bunch of things like all of their commands plus door commands that are right behind them or whatever. So I'm wondering how do you think we're going to be able to give orders to these AI companions? Do you think that it could be something like you hold down Alt and you get a wheel and you can sort of choose something like that, or do you think we'll see something else? The only other games I can really think of that have this were the older Rainbow Six games and Arma. I don't know of any other games. I'm sure there's other games that have it. I just don't know of them off the top of my head.
I mean, Arma is real clunky. So
Arma is really complicated and clunky for sure.
Yeah.
The inner thought system does support that functionality of being able to do everything you'd want to do, I'm pretty sure. And I'm not sure if you need too complex commands for the NPCs. Like,
my thing with the inner thought system is, what if you're not right? What if you don't have line of sight of the NPC? How are you going to bring up that inner thought system? How are you going to do that, right? If you're trying to move tactically and then you're like, oh shit, I need them to actually cover us from behind.
There'll probably be hotkeys as well. And you don't need that a complex system. You can just make them aggressive. You can make, because they're supposed to be trained soldiers.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like that's what they're doing now. It looks like he's pointing and maybe hitting a key to where he wants them to take cover at. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, it is actually. It is looking like that actually quite a bit.
He points as soon as he points, and then he's hitting a hotkey or something.
You don't want a sim citizen game where you're having to constantly micromanage guys. You want it so it's really easy to use, but quite you want it to also be very useful, rather than just sort of like, oh, he's running and got himself killed again. Good job.
You don't want to be focusing on how to control your AI when you need to be focusing on what's at the other end of your barrel.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't want them to be totally useless. So if you tell them to go somewhere, you don't want them to find an odd route around and then walk into a wall and then not be able to shoot an enemy because they're slightly out of sight. You want them to actually help you and go, oh, actually, maybe I should help him by sniper rifle.
Right. And yeah, you could, similar to, I love using WoW as analogies, but analogy from WoW is with your pets, where you can set them to different statuses, whether they be passive and they never attack, or overly aggressive, or whatever, and you can sort of have that, and that part can be sort of automated with whatever it is that they're doing.
I mean, they talked as well previously about every NPC having their own personality eventually. So I'm hoping that you can give people orders, but they might not necessarily listen to them fully. Like, you say, go passive, but if a guy's getting shot a couple of times, he's going to go, no, I'm running.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see those kind of behaviors. I don't want NPCs that just go, I don't mind dying because I'm an NPC.
Yeah, I do want some smart NPCs. Not many games get it well, So it'd be interesting to see if we get some of the best NPC systems in this game, which sounds like it may happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll sort of see how it goes.
Go Frankfurt! Woo!
You can do it.
Yes, because I love trolling NPCs in games. That's the first thing I do in any game. I kill them. I do dumb stuff to them to see their reaction. Like, that's the funnest thing to do to me in games.
New road system. For whatever reason, this sort of caught me off guard as well. I wasn't picturing roads. I don't know why.
Yeah, it looked awkward.
City planets, man.
Yeah, so obviously the assets aren't complete for this. But it also would lend itself to other things, and you can sort of see it in the interface as well, where not only is it roads, but it could be rivers. It could be, it didn't say anything about train tracks or rails or anything like that, but they could use it for that. Now how it works is they draw out what looks like a vector line with whatever they want this road or path to be. It's a vector path. Then it does some 3D geometry, and then it does a sort of a decal layer on top of that. What kind of things would you guys like to see with this? And do you think that this will include things, maybe not initially, but things like tunnels or bridges?
Oh, absolutely. But one of the most things I'm looking forward to that some of us kind of earned was the license. Now, these roads, will there be UEE police to pull us over for illegal goods on the ground?
Oh, God.
That's what I want to know. Because then we could transport legal stuff on the planet with no one coming after us.
GTA RP incoming.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I think that they'll keep on adding to the building sets for procedure generated cities and for roads. So we will see tunnels above and underground. I think we'll see them going through procedurally generated objects.
Right.
I think that's all the sort of stuff that we'll see. Even bridges, it's a possibility they can procedurally generate them, possibly.
Because the big thing for me is they showed this on a relatively flat surface, right? They're not showing this on too steep of an incline or anything like that. So when I was thinking about that, it's like you don't want it to be just follow a cliff down the side of it. You would want it to put some sort of bridge across to whatever makes sense for it.
I think it's with the IK systems that they have. They would want them to basically be a highway kind of building set where it would, like the legs of the
spaceships or the outposts, right?
Of the actual outposts will go into the ground correctly.
So you think
you want some of it to be raised and some of it not to be? I think eventually
they could use that same system in conjunction with the road system to make sort of the bridges.
Yeah, possibly.
I think tunnels would be a little bit easier.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, for the bridges, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I totally forgot about that with the outposts.
I think it might be a lot more complicated to do that sort of thing and make it look good with highways. But I mean, it's Star Citizen. Like,
I thought it was gonna look more futuristic. Futuristic, to be honest. I don't know if you guys seen like a Kickstarter a couple of years ago. They had like the light up streets and stuff. I thought it would be, I don't know, a little more futuristic.
Well, it's going to be different per planet, isn't it? There's going to be low tech. There's going to be really high tech. There's going to be like probably hover lanes in the Cloud City one in Crusader.
Yeah, Terra's probably gonna have like a pimp space highway that lights up.
Yeah, I mean, like,
all with diamond streets.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny you guys bring up the different planets or landing zones, because right after this they talked about Lorville, and that's the next landing zone that they've started to work on in Hurston. And now it's one of the company towns in Hurston. It's basically established for the employees that work on the planet. It's an import landing zone, and it overlooks some of the other strip mining operations on the planet. It's it also has, Hurston itself will have 4 moons as well, which I thought was interesting. But what landing zones do we think they have done if they're working on this one already? Because I was thinking like Microtech. I'm thinking what was the landing zones on Terra?
Oh, I can't fucking remember. That's cool.
Right, remember they were talking about those a long time ago.
I think this is the next hero landing zone that we're going to have in game.
That we're going to have in. Outside of Levski. You think we'll get this before Area 18?
Oh, yeah, so that's the thing, isn't it? It's like ArcCorp, Area 18. I mean, all the Stanton system is going to be done pretty quick. And I think that we'll have pretty much the whole Stanton system in 3.1. So
you think all of those will just come in sort of on a big...
Yeah, possibly. It depends on how they want to do it. If the release data patch really is coming with 3.0, it's possible that every landing zone will get plopped in as soon as it's ready. Or it's possible that they'll do them all at a relatively quick speed, and within a couple of months you'll have 3.1 with all of the landing zones. So I don't know, but it shouldn't take them that long to do each of those landing zones now. They've got the high tech and the low tech buildings.
It's more of the different
hero assets.
Not only the hero assets, but the different textures, right? They can use a lot of the same geometry, but they want to make the different textures to make it feel like it's new. New pieces overall. So yeah, will be interesting to see that. One of the things that had a little bit of controversy, at least on my channel, after we watched this, or while we were watching it, was the new gravity jumping and animations that they showed, with them sort of flailing around and and doing that stuff when they're on a low gravity moon and or planet. Now, when you look at say moon footage or something like that, you don't see them sort of flailing around in low gravity. Or even when you see footage of them doing that low grav airplane thing, I forget what it's called, where they go really high, like 50,000 feet or something in an airplane, and then do a nosedive when then everybody becomes weightless. You don't sort of spin yourself like you would on a high gravity planet like say Earth, right, to keep your balance, because it's lower gravity. So I'm wondering if this is this would be more of something, say if you were falling from 2 stories up, I would see this sort of animation. That would make more sense, not for jumping on a moon. And that's what a lot of people's thoughts were when we saw this. What do you guys think about it?
Was it because maybe he was sprint to that jump? I don't know.
I think they're early animations that are going to get a lot of work, and I think they were just messing around with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, giving us ideas, just like the roads. You guys were saying there was placeholders for the roads. So that's not the final iteration of it. So they're just showing us where they're trying to go with it. I don't think they're going to have it looking that goofy. That height. Like
one of my things from the other side of it was, if you're in, I think the way that they have it set up, possibly, is that if you're in the air for a certain amount of time, then it does that animation. and it doesn't differentiate whether you're on high gravity or low gravity for those animation sets. So I think they're more showing of how far it is that you actually jump on a low gravity planet and less of what that actual animation is.
Well, I think it's a mixture of both. So quite recently, there was an asked dev question, are we going to have different animations for the lower gravity and all that sort of stuff? And they went, we'll put that in at some point. Yes, we will have that, but we don't know when. And now they've put it in already, or starting to get it in already, and people are like, oh, I don't like it. Well, it's shown at a really early stage. Come on, give them a couple more weeks. But so some stuff that is done quite quickly, and they go, here's it for showing in AtV. People go, oh, I hate it. And people are correct to hate StarKitten and the golf system for scanning. You're allowed to hate those two things, because I do as well.
What about really obnoxious? What about really obnoxious Benny's machines?
That was just a forced meme. I didn't feel like that was shown as like an early stage thing.
But that's why people hate StarKitten, is it's a forced meme.
It is a forced meme, but it's not in. That's at an early stage. That's not even in game yet.
Yeah.
If you had StarKitten at the same time you released the Dragonfly and had the StarKitten skin, that's kind of a little bit more lol. But it's not sort of like we're gonna have them later. It's like with Benny's, we already had it, and people went, "Oh, we could make it. Oh, it makes a funny sound. Let's push it around." At least it was in game. It was too early to meme. You can't force a meme on me. You're a meme.
You're meme. So when we were talking about AI earlier, they're experimenting. That's a keyword here. With Levski possibly having a full AI population for 3.0. And some of the things that they're sort of experimenting with, those are quite the little headphones you got there. Headphones on headphones on headphones.
Headphoneception.
What they're doing right now is making sure that they work properly, and they don't all end up in one area. So they don't all end up with their pathing or something, all sort of crowded in one corner of Levski, because that would be ridiculous. You go in after the server's been up for, say, 3 or 4 days, and all the AI is sort of huddled together in a corner, walking into a wall or something like that. They're also testing what the AI populations can be currently, and that's the keyword there, currently supported for 3.0 while still getting decent performance. And what they consider decent performance, I believe, is anything of higher than 30 frames per second, maybe?
I think because it's 30 tick servers, I think 30 frames per second is probably what their like lowest reasonable number is. Yeah. So.
Right, so it's interesting. I don't know, because when they look at these populations, right, obviously they're going to be not only looking at the AI, but then the 24 player count on top of that to see what, everywhere from 1 player to 24 players, which we know is sort of going to be the maximum as 3.0 comes in. We know that that's not really changing for 3.0. But moving...
It's very unlikely.
It's unlikely to change. Yeah. Well, for the initial implementation of 3.0, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we know going forward that they want to include more players and whatever, and that's going to be more information and all of this other stuff. So, do you think that this is something where they may have to scale up or scale back later on? Or is this something that they're going to try and say, okay, this is what we can fit in now, so we're going to try and make it feel as best we can and sort of keep it around this? In terms of like AI player count or whatever.
I think they're going to up it.
I mean, so in what time scale are you talking?
There's no time scale. So in between now and so in between 3.0 and whenever they get all their netcode stuff finished.
So they're probably going to stay at a comfortable spot right now, but like I said, when the netcode stuff comes in, that's when they're probably going to start, obviously, upping stuff. Right now, it's kind of like a test of what they have to do.
This is why I say that, because initially you would think, okay, upping the AI population would make sense, but if that means that there's less players on that server, do you think they would reduce that to get more players on?
I think more players at the current state of everything is more important, because they can make, I mean, obviously they can make both the netcode and the AI code more and more efficient, but they need to be starting to stress test servers for their server meshing and working out how many cores and what they can do with their networking stuff. So they really need to stress test stuff, and there's only so much stress testing you can do with 24 players.
Right.
I mean, they want 48, 64, then get to like 128. I mean, when they start hitting like 128 with a server, which is very possible for them, and we'll talk more about why that's possible in a minute. Then they can start doing server meshing, and it will be more efficient. The issue they have is that they can probably do server meshing with like 48 players, but it's not cost efficient. In fact, it would probably be incredibly expensive to support the game, like with actual servers. So.
Well, it may be easier though to start off with right now with the AI, the NPCs and stuff, the AI stuff, compared to because the netcode stuff is taking longer, so they may be testing that stuff out right now and pushing that stuff to the limit because it's more accessible than the netcode stuff because it's still getting worked on. Yeah,
I mean that's quite a possibility as well. Maybe they will just go, let's go crazy with the AI, just to test it. That's why we're in alpha. That's why we're in an open project. We want to test this stuff. So, and I want to see CIG go. Like we're doing a test batch, jump in, do some crazy testing. That's what I want. That's what I like alphas.
Yeah, I think the netcode stuff's not going to be here, the better netcode till 2018, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because there is something in the doc today that may help that at least move along a little bit. Now, moving on to this next thing they showed was the render to texture stuff. We know that this is still being worked on, and is pushed out into the beginning of August here. But they show a little bit of what looks like, I'm not sure if it looks like the star map for a satellite or something with some waypoints and stuff like that from a ship HUD on the Idris. Pretty interesting. This is just an idea for some of the stuff that they are doing, though, with the render to texture. So it's not just a star map or mobi-glass or whatever. They have these big displays in, like I said, the Idris that's going to be coming in later on.
That's got to be Shubin.
Oh yeah, that would be Shubin. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. I didn't
well, you know what?
It's been done for a while,
you know what? There's a ship here. There's a couple ships on this.
An Idris. There's a
Starfarer. No. Okay, so if you see the Starfarer right here, and there's a Gladius here, that doesn't look big enough to be Shubin.
You think it's a Polaris? Oh, I see. I think there might be multiple mining stations as part of Shubin.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's just a little.
Or maybe it could be a, for lack of a better term, it could be a satellite. You know what I mean, right? So it's like a smaller thing that just is near it.
Board just confirmed Shubin. There you go.
I just woo!
Shubin confirmed. But I thought that was a really awesome use of render to texture. And I really wanted to show that to you guys.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, and that's the 2D. That's the 2D use of it as well. It's going to be fully volumetric holographic, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Which I'm really excited to see if they use that, like they showed with the sort of maps and everything as well, because that could be.
That looks so cool in VR.
Really neat. Yeah.
I cannot wait till they get the VR stuff in.
VR for me is going to be for Squadron 42, but I don't think I'm going to play the MMO Star Citizen with VR.
What if it gives you an advantage, though?
It won't give you an advantage.
Like Track IR. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it can.
VR does not give you an advantage. VR confuses your brain and makes you really immersed.
I don't know. Looking around, I don't know. Giving that look around instead of looking on the mouse, I don't know. It helps me better, to be honest.
We'll have a versus match.
Yeah, we'll have a versus for sure.
You're going down, Board.
Oh my god, I'm so immersed. I don't care that I'm dying.
I'm very much I like to keep it to the basics as much as possible. I'm excited about VR, and it'll be cool for the immersion stuff, but it's the same reason I use a mouse and a keyboard, not a joystick. So I would be very interested to go against you, not only in ship but on foot, and see how well you do against just a basic setup. And I would imagine that all things being equal, the basic setup would be a little bit more effective, albeit less immersive.
Speaking of mouses, this mouse right here is tilt control and everything. This is the Swift Point Z mouse. So I could fly the ship. I could turn my mouse and do all this and and all that, y'all, all on this mouse. This is a dope mouse.
Like,
check it out if you haven't.
You pick it up off the mat and do that?
Wait, yeah, you can do that, or it has this attachment. What the hell did I do with it? Well, there's an attachment, and you just kind of like pop it off. I don't know what I did with it.
It's got a lot of uses, that mouse. It's quite clever.
Yeah, but you could put it on the table and you could just kind of like tilt it like this at the bottom, and this round thing. You could pop it off when you get on land or whatever, or you could just lift it up and float it in the air like that if you want. Like if I'm flying the helicopter, I'm just it's like a toy almost.
What company makes that?
Swift Point. This was a Kickstarter mouse.
Hashtag not NAD. Hashtag Swift Point. Get at us and send us some money.
Give us money,
motion, bro. Not paid motion.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did with other pieces though. I don't know.
New areas and locations have been added to Levski. Specifically, they said a new store, which they didn't mention what the store was, and an admin office. And I was curious to know, what do you guys think the admin office is being used for?
So the admin offices are going to be used for dropping off packages from missions in 3.8.
Okay. So very similar to what I thought you would. What is the mission job core in Area 18? So similar to something like
TBD?
that? No, the job core.
Jobwell.
Jobwell. Yeah. In Area 18.
Oh,
so is it? Yeah, it's a lot smaller than that, but that's sort of the functionality I saw with the Jobwell, and was expecting with the Jobwell stuff. So do you think that
it might evolve into that, because they said a while ago the ones they wanted to do for truck stops, admin offices would maybe have job boards in, I think. But I think in 3.0 it's going to be as simple as, this is where you drop off your mission packages.
That is the most bootleg admin office I've ever seen. Got like little Christmas lights on there and shit.
Yeah, little taped up sign.
Ghetto admin office.
And then, last but not least, before they went on to their kiosk featurette, they mentioned work on ArtCorp, and more specifically, Procedural Cities, which we sort of talked about before because Board had that inside scoop. But they did confirm that on AtV very briefly. They're like, yeah, we're working on ArtCorp Procedural Cities for Hurston, and they just sort of went over it. We didn't see any footage for it or anything like that. We've talked about Procedural Cities before, hoping they can be as complex as we would like them, but we'll hopefully see. I think we're probably going to see our first look at Procedural Cities either at Gamescom or CitizenCon.
Oh man, that's the way to drop the mic, because right now I don't know what they're showing. Well, Gamescom I kind of got a gist of what they're going to show, but at CitizenCon,
I imagine the big focus for Gamescom is going to be not only 3.0, maybe some more of the flora stuff, and maybe some flora on planets, I think is the big thing that they're going to do. They might show us some sort of forests or jungle or something like that. They might have something ready, or water tech or something like that.
Yeah, biomes and things. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can really think of that they can be like, boom, right? Because we know that we're getting capital ships as derelicts in 3.0. So them showing capital ships is cool. The netcode isn't ready to support multiple of them flying around yet.
They could potentially show us in an enclosed environment cattle ship combat, because they could do it in an enclosed environment and just say, we don't need the supported network code at the moment because we're running on a planet
to show you this little land. Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of things that we could see that they've probably built out already, that it's just not ready for the MMO universe.
Yeah, man. If they show Procedural Cities at Gamescom, I think that'll blow everyone away. Even though we know about it, we'll still be going away.
Yeah, it's something
public.
Very much
that's where you
see.
drop the mic at right there. You show that off and then just shit on the game industry right there with that. So I don't know. I hope they do show that. That'd be real good at Gamescom instead of CitizenCon, because it's more of a wider audience.
BoredGamer's deep in thought.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of insight into Procedural Cities, and I did a lot of research after you showed me that video, Saurus.
Yeah.
Of the guy that he works for CIG.
He works for CIG now. Yep. Yeah. That's why I brought that video up. So Gio.
Wait a minute, the FPS game? That FPS game?
No. So on a previous podcast, I think maybe 3 or 4 podcasts ago,
2009 or something, he made.
There was tech that was made. It was never put into an actual game, but it was procedural city generation that didn't just procedurally generate a city with the different assets and stuff like that, but it was a fully destructible, fully explorable city where you could go in every floor of every building, and it was basically infinite. I seen that
episode. He had like a gun or something. I don't know, it looked like it was in a desert or something at first, and then he went in the building and you guys were showing up. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That was in 2009. He did that.
And
I wish. Let me check the date.
It was definitely older, and he that guy works for CIG now.
Oh,
yeah,
man! If he pulls that off in this engine, boy.
Wow.
As if Star Citizen wasn't exposed in the game industry enough. Oh man, that's a major mic drop.
How soon after they broke the tech for procedural planets did they start showing stuff for it? When did we see From Pupil to Planet compared to when the tech for procedural tech came out?
That was what? 2015. Was that 2015?
I don't know.
To YouTube.
How many months? Because Brian Chambers, they said they broke the tech, and then I can't remember how many months it was. So, I mean, it's possible we might see some procedural city stuff, but I think it's more likely for CitizenCon. Although maybe the fact they haven't shown any procedural city stuff is because it is for Gamescom.
Yeah. Because they have sort of been talking about it, and it's something that they would need for for Crusader, right?
Well, they might not need it for Crusader.
No. What's the system called? It's Crusader. It's the Stanton system. Sorry, I got those mixed up. So it's something that they need for Stanton for planets like Hurston and ArcCorp.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be something that's sort of what they're working on. I was looking for the video to post to you guys in chat, but I can't find it at the moment.
Yeah, everyone's asking for it. I do remember seeing it on the podcast.
It's really bad. It's like 280p or something like that on YouTube. But I'm gonna keep looking here and see if I can find it.
Yeah, the Pupil of the Planet was in 2015 in December. That's why they got to come harder than 3.0. I mean, it'd be nice to show at Gamescom, but you gotta show more than that because we've been seeing this stuff since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, "Wow, it still isn't out."
I love your troll voice, Gio. It's well researched.
Yes, that's how all trolls sound to me.
Yeah, I'm finding a lot of Unity stuff. That's not what I'm looking for. Board, you don't
generated Pixel City?
No, I know.
Marion posted it.
Okay, yeah, that's it. The Structure Procedural System trailer. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I did see this one. This is the one he showed me. Oh, look at that glorious 240p, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, that's the race that I'm going to be playing Star Citizen to get 30 frames in.
2009? Wow. And we still don't have tech like this in games now in 2017. That's bullshit. That's laziness.
Well, I mean, we kind of do, so...
We kind of do. And the other thing, too, is that sometimes things are held back because of reasons that you don't know, right? There's a lot of things, like, in terms of, like, sound engines and stuff like that, that were being held under different patents and whatever, and there could be something that, the way that this was used, maybe was affecting that, and there are companies out there that'll just sit on these things and you'll just never see them. A good example of that was the positional audio that we haven't been seeing until recently because it was being sat on by what is that audio company? They did all the sound cards and stuff for a long time, and so
Sound Blaster?
I think it was Creative Labs, Sound Blaster, and then they just didn't do anything with it. But didn't let anybody else do anything with it either.
They said CD Projekt Red is doing the same thing, checking out City Procedural Tech, but that's another indie studio. That's why the AAA people are lazy. It's going to take an indie to push stuff like this because they're going to stick with the cookie cutter recipe and not step their game up. No pun intended.
But yeah, this is an entire city, and it just goes on and on and on. Obviously, using the assets that he had used to build this, but every single floor of every single building, you were able to go in and was able to be instructed or whatever. And even had a very basic and rudimentary AI with the, if you can even call it that, with the traffic and stuff like that.
That's great. I'm still impressed that in 2017 that this is 2009. Because you look at something like the Frostbite Ninja, you can't even destruct the whole city like he just did a whole building.
Well, this is very impressive, isn't it? And if the guy's now working for Star Citizen, hopefully he learned some stuff over the last 8 years.
Yes, I would love to see an interview with him.
Oh, yeah.
They need to interview him soon because I would have questions with that engine that he worked on.
And then moving forward outside of ATV, they also talked about kiosks at the end of ATV. If you want to go check that out, their little featurette on their Star Citizen.
It does go slightly deeper into the economy for 3.0 and talks about it being dynamic and player driven and so some of the cool things that will happen with this render to texture feature and these UIs is that you will be able to kind of peek over people's shoulders. You're not going to be able to see exactly where their mouse is, but you'll be able to see sort of what they're looking at. And it's not going to be too much of a get away from me, you know where all my stuff is now. But it is going to be, well, someone could probably discern a little bit of extra information about where you're going if they're bounty hunting you.
Is that the same with MobiGlass?
It's the same with MobiGlass, I believe.
Yeah, because people were worried about that, like, oh yeah, if I'm doing something on there, because someone just stand in front of me and troll and look at it.
And see what I'm
in the corner, like.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be quite hard for them to peek at it. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Not necessarily, because if you have it up, you can't really move around, right? So if somebody decides that they want to...
You can have a run with it.
Well, they're going to have different variety of MobiGlass, too. I remember them saying they may have one with, like, glasses where you could have the... If you don't have it on your wrist, you have MobiGlass on your glasses or something.
It looks like there's sort of...
type thing.
Going by when I was doing last week's podcast, it looks like they are keeping it on the wrist. Because they've made a whole bunch of different wrist models for the MobiGlass.
They must have changed it then.
It's a possibility. We don't know, right? We'll have to wait and see, but that's sort of what I was leaning towards. And then we also saw the Cyclone.
Cyclone height! Woo!
So yeah, wearing one on your shirt. They released 5 different variants. This is exactly what I thought it was going to be, a ground vehicle. The company is called Tumbril. Everything from basic loadout, which is good for cargo, a racing version, a recon version, ground weaponized turret version, and the first combined arms weapon for ground to air with the AA version as well. Going everywhere.
How effective it's going to be yet, but
no. But they range anywhere from $40 to $70 individually, and then there was a whole pack for, what was it, $250, I think.
Yeah, and there was also the as a rover.
No,
well, there was a really odd package. A really odd with the turtle ship. It can't even carry one. And
Tumbril, yeah. Tumbril, I know which one you're talking about, though. Yeah, it can't carry, but yeah, when I was reading up on it, it makes sense because when you look at the concept sale for the Terrapin, you can actually see it on the planet, and I guess it gets information kind of like, I wouldn't say like an FBI news van type thing, but I guess it gives information. It's tough for ground and asteroids and can communicate with the tumblers, maybe like the reconnaissance one, the RN, so they could like feed each other back and forth information type stuff. That's what it was looking like.
Well, I was very tired when I made a video about the Cyclone, and I was like, "Oh, cool! They're selling it with the, they're selling it in a package with the Terrapin. That means I must be able to carry it somehow. I don't know how. Cool." And obviously,
Sleepy Gamer.
Well, the Terrapin is very small, but I mean, it might be getting bigger. I think that's unlikely. But the Tumbril buggy is pretty small as well, so.
Well, the entrance is on the side. It's going to be weird if it does get bigger and they can fit it from the side like that, because it's kind of like elongated, and they got like one side that opens from what I've seen on the Terrapin.
I think it's more likely with some ships we might see them be able to carry vehicles either with hooks or in like standalone crates or something.
Yeah, someone.
Well, we saw that with the Ursa. With the
I
Ursa,
didn't even see
saw
that.
it.
I seen that on Twitter. I'm like, oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
Even with the in-game model, it has the hooks. So
yes.
It had it in the concept, but also the in-game model. Now, before we go any further, I just want to remind people that we're going to be taking questions in a minute. If you have, oh my god, I just got something. If you have any questions, !question in chat. Get those in there for either Bored, myself, or Gio, or all three of us. You can ask us anything about our YouTube channels, our Twitch channel. Star Citizen, whatever, we'll do our best to answer. I do want to remind you guys that none of us work for CIG at all. We are just, it's a lot of speculation or information that we're going on that could be outdated or whatever, or what we think, you know, based on the information that we have, makes the most sense.
Now, with the sale, were you guys salty about the pre-sale skin and how they did the CCU stuff? Was there any?
This is the thing with this skin. I think the skins like this are kind of irrelevant. With what they've shown with the paint system and stuff like that for the ships, I think that what they're doing with these basic skins, they shouldn't. I think is kind of irrelevant, right? Like, why wouldn't you be able to paint it flat black? If they're gonna give us like a full customization, like what they've showed us with the ships, right? And there's no reason they couldn't bring that over to vehicles. Maybe there's something else with the skin that's going to be a little different than just plain flat black. Maybe it's flat black with some gold little accents or something.
It's very likely that those special skins. I like the idea of having special skins available during those sales. Whatever you want to give away, special badges that don't mean anything. You want to give special skins away that don't change gameplay.
Yeah,
go fucking crazy. But those special, like the Yellow Jacket skin, the Dust Devil skin, that sort of stuff, they will have something that makes them different in game, that makes them limited edition, even if it's just a little logo.
Well, yeah, like with the Dust Devil, especially, right? I'm picturing some sort of like logo-looking thing that goes on the hood or on the doors. That's in like a different sort of like maybe a lighter shade of black, like a dark gray on the dark black, and so that's what differentiates that in between just painting it dark black or matte black. As long as they don't go with the sales, as long as they go, this is a special skin which also slightly reduces its IR signal. As long as they don't do shit like that, I'm happy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but still,
it's the same thing with the posters and the models and stuff like that. It's like, okay, also, is this going to be something you're going to be able to earn later on in the game? Most likely, you'll be able to find it. Maybe, right? It doesn't matter. Is it gonna, maybe it's a pain in the ass to do or something, but
well, you know, the Q and the Yellow Jacket both had a week. This one had one day, and then you wanted us to buy the super pack, not even knowing what the other ones were, and like, oh yeah, pre-order now. You know, you get the skin tomorrow, and that was it for the skins. Yellow Jacket and the Q, I had a whole 10 days. I don't know. I think if it would have stayed on like Warbond or something, I'd have been cool with it, because that's what made me buy the Warbond edition of the what was this stealth ship? I forget. There's so many ships.
Eclipse.
Yeah.
Eclipse. That okay, came with a special paint job. Okay, boom.
Better example, the Caterpillar, the pirate Caterpillar.
But even that was available after you finished the
right. But I'm talking in terms of I'm thinking of what I was going with just a paint scheme. It's not just a paint scheme. It has the different decals and everything on it as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it may be worth more money versus like the Yellow Jacket and stuff. Those are gonna be worth more money than just painting it, you know, yellow. Like I give an example with real life. You know, you got a Charger Hemi, you know, with the paint job. I think they give like a blue one away or something. The factory version is worth more than if I go out and bought a regular Charger and painted blue myself. It just holds more value. So some people are into that stuff like me. I did snag one. I'll just for some people were a little salty, including me, because I was going to actually get a 5-pack.
And that was my question: is who picked one up? Did you pick one up, Bored?
I have only put one up to as a giveaway. Okay. But I'm going to get one in burst, because I think that ground vehicles typically at the moment are far too expensive what they are, and I do think they're going to be relatively easy. However, if I was going to pick one up, I'd pick up the Recon one.
Okay. Yeah, I picked up a couple for giveaways, and that was it.
That's the one I got in black. Yeah. I actually got 6. And, you know, I forgot to tell Source earlier, which I should have told him. I'm gonna give one of those away today, or a Nox Cube. The choice is yours.
Okay, I can set that up.
I don't know what Source wants to do if he wants to do.
I'll set up a raffle now. I'm gonna be playing some Star Marine after this as well, so I don't know if you want to stick around for that or.
I'll probably play some Fortnite.
Okay, but I will put this up right now. So if you are here live, sometimes we do some of these giveaways. I will put that in there. So you said a Tumbril or a Nox.
I don't need to pay people to like me, Geo, but I will. I will join in your. No,
I'm fat twerk today. Yeah, see, I'm cooler than the skinny's twerk.
All right, it is now up. It's ! Geo in chat. GIO. Yeah, get in there.
We love you, Geo. We love you, Geo. Give us free stuff. We love
you. And then moving forward on to our last thing here before we jump into questions. This I thought was pretty newsworthy, was the network protocol. So Bored, I know that you've done a little bit of research on this as well, right? A little bit of research. So Yojimbo is a network library for client-server games with dedicated servers. It's designed around networking requirements of competitive multiplayer games like FPS, first-person shooters, and it provides a time-critical networking layer over UDP with a client-server architecture supporting up to 64 players per dedicated server instance, and it just went live a couple days ago. So it was just completed. CIG was a gold sponsor for this. So I'm not sure. I'm assuming that means they gave them money for it. How much money, I don't know. But this was a tech that they were invested into, and they were looking forward to using with it. Do you think that this is going to expedite any of our networking issues that we're seeing or that they're working on right now? And do you think they're going to try and integrate this as soon as possible? And what does that mean for the game?
Well, it potentially means that they're going to be able to get in more players faster if it's part of the network code, the stuff that they want to use still. I mean, stuff changes with CIG all the time. So they may have previously sponsored it, but like, oh, we don't need it anymore. Or there could be a billion different things. It could be exactly what they need to get more players into an instance. Or it might be partly what they need, and they integrate some of it, and then they have to customize a lot of it. I will do a bit more research, but I do know that this is a pretty impressive open source library according to everyone else's feedback from it at the moment. And open source is always good. It means lots of iteration and lots of...
Yeah, that was the one thing. It is open source network protocol, which means that anybody can use it. You can actually go and download it right now and look at the entire source code. I have the link for that. It's GitHub. I will post that in chat. If anybody it's way over my head, but if anybody here knows anything about network protocols or wants to go take a look at it for themselves, there's the link there for that. And Bored, I'll send you that so you can post that on the video as well.
Yeah.
They said they think that's for AI too. They said, is it?
I'm not sure. What is?
Someone just said that. Maybe for AI too. That'd be nice.
I think their AI is so kind of separated from their network code at the moment, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But there you go. And Bored, I sent that to you. One more reminder just before we jump into these questions here. If you have any ! question in chat. Also a reminder that we do have a Patreon for Redacted and a merch store, ! store. That's mine. If one of the mods want to post the links in those, but I know, get in my little spiel. Post those links in chat for me. That would be fantastic. Thank you. And let's move on to our questions.
Oh, one more thing on the Cyclone, it will not be ready for 3.0. So if you want one for 3.0, it's not going to be there yet.
Right. Right. Hopefully, with the new Delta patcher, as soon as it's done, they can put it in.
Yeah.
And instead of waiting for ships for the next 3.1, yeah, that'd be nice.
They're going to be able to pump out these small vehicles that are ground vehicles very quickly. Like, they don't need any mechanics. They work on the ground. The engine supports tracked vehicles. The engine supports lots of different crazy stuff, and they'll just work. They don't need extra mechanics.
Now, looking at the questions, there are some questions in here that ask about how we feel about the 5 to 10 systems on launch. We've already answered those questions, so I will be skipping those, just a heads up. Our first question is from Nejma. There seems to be a lot of concern about CIG's income after release, and if selling UEC will be enough. Do you guys think they'll just sell StarEngine? Surely, once some Disney's execs see Star Citizen 3.0, 4.0 play, they'll throw mountains of money at CIG to make a real Star Wars MMO happen. Not to mention any other big IP, Star Trek, BSG, Firefly, etc.
EA already screwed everybody from making games. So, they sold their soul to EA, so you can forget about any of the fun shit. Yeah,
so that, number one. And number two, it's Lumberyard. So I don't know what their deal is with that, but if anything, they would be selling plugins or add-ons for Lumberyard and not the actual engine itself, because they are using.
Well, as you said, we don't know their deal. I mean, the engine could be so far off from Lumberyard now that they're able to resell it. But the factor there would be that probably they'd still have to use the back end Amazon Web Services. For like multiplayer stuff. We don't know, but I think it's very good to be wary of CIG's income after release, because UEC sales may be enough, and obviously they're going to be selling game packages as well.
There's going to be more than that, though. I just think right now they're just not releasing it to us, because right now they probably just want to keep it ships and don't want to confuse stuff as it is already. But they're probably got a roadmap, I think, for stuff they're going to sell after the game launches.
We are going to see an optional subscription continue, and sort of. I know a lot of people are really against that and have very strong feelings about it one way or another. I myself fully support it. I know that not everybody does. But I think that that's something that they could look at, and they have adamantly said that an optional subscription, not a required subscription, but an optional subscription,
not a pay-to-win subscription,
and not a pay-to-win one, but an optional one where maybe I don't know what it could add, continue to add more of the cosmetic stuff or whatever. That they're not saying no, but they're not saying that it's in either.
So I wouldn't mind them selling concept ships.
I would.
I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, I would. Like,
the reason I'm gonna say the concept ships is a bad thing is because as soon as they're ready, they should go in, right?
Yeah,
and they should be accessible to everybody.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so I don't see why anybody would buy them.
Well, not just that, but they said
people want to support the game.
That's ridiculous. Like, okay, now that's when people are gonna say, okay, now it's pay to win, because you could just go buy any ship, boom, bomb right there while the game's already launched, and get ahead of people who are already grinding in game.
Well, I don't think you're getting ahead of people by buying ships, because of the nature of multi-crew, because of the nature of not every ship is every role, and because you can get everything in game. So the reason I don't mind them selling concept ships after launch is because people can just buy the UEC anyway. As long as you're not precluding other people from getting those ships, you go, well, yeah, we've got a concept sale, we're giving away a special skin with it, and you can buy it, and you'll get it from the day it's released. I don't mind that. I don't care so much. Like, people want to pay for games, as long as it's not pay to win, I don't give a shit. But also, they could sell skins, like
cosmetic stuff, earlier.
Right. And I would not mind them selling as much as they want for Arena Commander and Star Marine. If they want to sell shit for that, if they want to sell weapon packs and crates and whatever, they can go mad with Star Marine and Arena Commander. I do not give a shit.
That would also bring in a whole more other audience with that as well.
Yeah, it really would. It would bring in more people almost. The key crowd from CS:GO and from what's going to become PUBG, because PUBG have gone back on what they said.
I've also will add on to that, and we've talked about this before, and I would like to see this being able to implement org logos or whatever, and bringing those in game, making that putting that behind some sort of paywall, even if it's only like $20 or something for an org logo, and then everybody in your org can use it, because they have to make sure they have to go through that, they have to filter it, make sure it's not dicks that you're putting in there, and all of this other stuff, and then
other things they could sell better access to voice over IP stuff, maybe, or something on Spectrum that allows you to organize your org better. Although saying that, I don't like the idea.
I don't like that
functionality.
No,
I don't like that either. Thinking about it.
No, just cosmetic. Just cosmetic.
Yeah, skins are big money. I mean, you look at, like I said, Overwatch with the little player packs. People are buying the stuff now, and players are known. So, I mean, just skins alone will make a lot of money.
And you got to remember that CIG will explore any routes that are sensible and don't piss off the community too much. And we, as a community, have to keep them accountable for that. So if you're genuinely
what about something like this? And somebody said this in game, and I could see this. I'm leaning more towards in-game currency for this. But what about organization ads in game?
Okay.
Right. If you could pay with either in-game currency, or you could pay with real currency to advertise your organization and organization only.
I think they should make it wider than that. I think that they should have real companies advertising the Star Citizen, but the adverts have to be done in law.
Well, that's why I'm saying an organization, right?
Yeah,
you have
you actually meant an organization.
You make an organization. Okay, so Coca-Cola makes an organization, and then they can advertise it in game.
As long as it's in law, fucking go crazy with your product, because that actually makes high quality ads, and also it generates them extra money, which means they don't need to explore routes that are shitty. Because I don't really want to have to pay a subscription for Star Citizen to support it in the future, which is unlikely, but it's a possibility after 5 years where they go, well, our player base has gone from 8 million to 4 million, we need a subscription now. Something like that. So I'm down for them exploring routes that don't piss people off. And the concept sales, if that pissed too many people off, maybe not. I mean, that's just my opinion on concept sales.
Yeah, I think people are pissed off because Chris said before that he wouldn't sell ships.
I don't care if they revise stuff. I don't care if they say, we're thinking about revising this thing. What do you guys think? Because a lot of people might be like, yeah, great. Or other people might be like, no, you said no. Like, well, I don't mind them changing their mind and stuff. I mean, the project's evolved. It's just, does it make sense, and does it piss off the community? Like, if the community, if people don't want it, don't have it. If they really do want it, or they don't really care, then do it. Everyone has their own opinion.
Our next question's from Mudfucker. He says, with how long 3.0 is taken, do you think 3.1 will make it in this year?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think around Christmas time, I think it'll come. I think 3.0 is the hardest milestone in the game right now. I mean, even the stuff after is not going to be as important. 3.0 is...
It's the planetary tech and everything.
Motherfucker, this is the motherfucker patch right here. So this is the hard thing to, get out and make sure everything's rolling. So I think stuff is going to come easier after this drops.
Yeah, I think they may be able to squeeze it in, but I don't think these other patches will be as far out. And I'm hoping that the big patches aren't as relevant as they are now. There's still, with the Delta Patcher, it's nice to get these big chunks of things in, but I am really hoping, and I really hope CIG is listening to this, that, when the Tumbril's done, put it in. When they have some more clothing stuff, put it in. New weapons, put it in. Like, things that aren't reliant on these big systems, and that we can already be using, put them in. More missions, put them in. And do that on a weekly or bi-weekly update would be fantastic. That being said, what day of the week would you prefer, not saying that they'll even listen to this, but what day of the week would you prefer that they did updates? We know a lot of games do Tuesday nights, some do Sunday nights. Blizzard, I think, does Tuesdays, right? So would you want it to happen on that same day, or would you rather have it so you can play Star Citizen while your other game's updating, and then have that so on like a Thursday where they update it on Thursdays, so you have other games to play because it's not all the games you want to play are down.
I like updates on Tuesdays. It makes sense if you do them all at the same time on Tuesday, because then everyone in the world is out of Sunday. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the end of the weekend for everyone in the world at all time on a Tuesday. So I
that's
like
true.
Yeah, and if something goes wrong, they have enough time to fix that patch within those next
few
days.
I definitely expect it to be a weekday thing if they do go that route.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I only play Star Citizen really, so it doesn't matter. Whatever day is going to be down is going to be a nightmare for me anyways. Because I'll be like, fuck, I forgot it was update day. No! Maintenance day. Whatever. But
wrecked.
Yeah. Our next question's from Nejma. Hey guys, so imagine Disco, Tyler, or Chris are listening to the podcast right now. Hopefully they are. The three of you get to make 3 suggestions for how CIG could improve their community relationship with lessons learned recently. Go. And then he also says, P.S. Bored, when can we expect your beard to rival Disco's?
Well, mine's ginger, so mine has no soul. I don't know. Isn't Disco shaving his off for 3.0 because he's a filthy cop-out?
I'm gonna shave my game release, so it's gonna be like down to here.
One day,
15 years.
Me and Gio were planning to meet our beards across the pond.
You braid them together, and then just just use it to carry a fiber optic line across.
We're just gonna let backers walk to the UK for citizens.
That's how we're gonna solve the network code. Just tie our beards together.
You're done.
So when we grow them in time together, that's when the network's gonna be better.
That's why I like you, Gio. It's that kind of smart opinion. I like. Yeah, boom.
Smart.
But yeah, going back to this, what 3 suggestions could we all come up with together that we would say for the community?
Update the community regularly on the scope of your game and make sure it's updated on the website. So if the scope changes or something changes, such as 5 to 10 systems, or stats change or whatever, update them immediately. Don't go, oh, we're updating the big website, so there's no point in changing them. There's always a point in changing them because new players are always coming in, and you don't explain that to them. You expect the community to do it, and they do. But that shouldn't be an expectation of the community. That should be on you, not on us.
Mine would be, if you have a schedule for things that you put out, whether it be one of your videos or a FAQ or whatever, and for whatever reason you can't hit that time or date, let us know as soon as you know. There's no reason in putting it off. Like, for example, I'll use AtV because that's the biggest one that affects that I see with my viewers and your backers, is people expect it to be here by 1 o'clock. And that's what you've said, is when it comes out, it's 1 o'clock on Thursdays. If for whatever reason it's not ready by that, you guys obviously know that's when all of the summoning posts and everything come up. If you know that you're still editing it, or it's not even uploaded, we don't need to know the time that it's coming up. We just need, okay guys, we're editing it now. Okay guys, it's being uploaded right now. And then we have an idea of a time frame in our mind of when it's being done. But you don't do that. Instead, you say things like, go to sleep, it'll be there tomorrow, which just infuriates people and makes them mad at you and not like you. I think that if you just said, hey, we're editing it still, or hey, we're uploading it now, it takes 10 seconds of your time. Even if you put that on Spectrum, people will post that on Reddit, people will post that in the Twitch channels, people will post that everywhere. Literally 2 seconds to just type that, instead of treating people like, I don't even know what it would be, but just saying that, oh, do this. People are looking forward to it. That's the only thing a lot of people really look forward to right now outside of the patch. Is you guys have been doing awesome with AtV and the different shows, and people really look forward to those. And so when you sort of talk down to the community like that, it pisses them off. So I would suggest stop doing that.
I have one that pisses people off too. Randomly changing the CCU stuff without warning.
Yeah.
No type of, when you just do it, or just take the Redeemer off the store without no warning to CCU system, buying an LTI token, think you're going to have LTI token, then later on being told, oh, no, you can't use this ground vehicle for LTI token because, you know, for whatever reason, it changed, or you're going to sell a skin pre-order for 1 day and then that's it, and no one else can get it after that. You know, we would love warnings on that type of stuff. It's just so random.
You could boil everything down to what we've just said into one succinct point. Just better and more effective communication. That's where the issue lies.
It's the issues with miscommunication that
it's
they
just
have.
Miscommunication, or sometimes what feels like the lack of. They put out more information, and don't get me wrong, in terms of the shows and stuff like that, is awesome. But with some of the things, it just feels like such great missteps in the wrong direction, or just sort of just not paying attention to the people that are making this game happen.
I would like to see two other things from them. I would like them to be have someone that vets them. I really like someone that's a massive fan of their game to vet the stuff that they do. Literally look at it, work with PR to go, oh, that will piss off the community. Doing an event which appears to be open to everyone, but is just open to 5 content creators that can go to Gamescom and win an Idris, but pretending it's for everyone is not appropriate. Stuff like that. Starking them. People are gonna get pissed off at that. You're forcing a meme on them. So stuff like that. Yeah. But also, you do need someone to work with PR that's a really big fan of the game that goes, actually changing the meta of that's going to really piss people off. But also, you want to make advocates of your content creators. So there's multiple things you can do to do that. You can, on every ATV or every so often on Spectrum, say, guys, we're after videos from content creators that are about this, about tutorials, or about this part of the system, or about this thing, or about this thing, and then reward those content creators, the ones that do the best jobs, with free ships, or with just a different type of MVP, or just ask content creators to make it, to be honest. Because a lot of them will. A lot of them would like guidance on doing stuff.
Even giving them what is the word? Recognition, right? Yeah. For doing that stuff is pretty. A lot of content creators like me got a lot of recognition early on because there was very few people doing content for Star Citizen. But now there's quite a few people, and some of them do fucking amazing work that don't get much recognition. And I just think that with a bit of focus from CIG saying, we want videos on this stuff, and then featuring those videos and talking about the content creators that do the best there, I think that would be a good thing. But, you know. Next question.
Have you guys seen the dislike ratio on that contest? Just ask you guys.
No, but I'm sure it's pretty high.
It's pretty bad, and I don't think no one's going to get that Gamescom rank. I don't know why they thought someone's going to make that many referrals with 3.0 not out.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like it's in bad taste, the whole thing, without 3.0 being out. It should have been something they waited for 3.0 to be out, and then maybe made it for CitizenCon instead.
And one quick last thing, realistic expectations, because just think about it. 3.0 said we were going to have it last year, and here we are, July 2017. Even though 3.0 is different than what 3.0 we thought we were going to get, here we are in 2017 July, and still no 3.0.
I think a lot of people, including Saurus, said it was going to be coming out at Gamescom, to be honest. So, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know where Chris gets his expectations from. I think he needs to take more tips from his brother, because he's been more in tune with pushing out games more recently than Chris. I just don't know what's going on.
I think it's more of the way that Chris works. And while those dates are maybe unattainable, they help him push the people that he needs to push to maybe not hit those dates, but to make sure that things get done. And I think that's just how he works. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, and it can end up frustrating a lot of people when he says dates or whatever, because they obviously never come true. But I think that's what it is, right? It's like aim for the stars, they hit the ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like pushing and pushing and pushing to make sure that he still hits that, and does get Like, there's so much groundbreaking tech that's coming into this and doing all of this stuff. And not to side on one side or the other, because, yeah, having this back in December would have been nice. Not having a content drought for, you know, every year for the same time, it would be fantastic. But at the same time, I also see why that it could be the way that it is. I do want to jump ahead into some questions because we still have quite a few and not a lot of time left here. So our next question is from GM Warlord saying, do you think it'll be even possible to grief at release?
Yes.
To what?
To grief.
Grief.
Yeah, of course, it's always going to be possible to grief in games. People always find a way, and they might slowly get weaned out and like, if someone has a load of fucking money in a game, they can grief you, like, potentially, because they just like continuously ram you with their interests.
Well, this will be one of the closest games that could probably prevent that from happening at launch, because they're so in tune with the community. Like the guy said, he said sometimes I couldn't hear from fans at another studio I worked at unless it was Gamescom or E3. They're constantly hearing from us on Spectrum and YouTube and Twitch and all that. So they're getting feedback right away. So this may be the best hope of a game MMO coming out without griefing, or to the minimum at least, because we're going to test it out in beta and alpha, and everyone's going to give their feedback and all that fun shit. So
yeah, I mean, they'll mitigate it as much as possible, but it's never going to be. If somebody really doesn't give a shit, like I said, this last week I was watching a video from a YouTube channel called Extra Credits, and if somebody wants to do it, it doesn't matter what disadvantages or advantages you give players. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. If they find that fun and they find some sort of satisfaction in that, it doesn't matter if you destroy all their ships and make it a big pain in the ass and wipe their reputation or whatever. It does not matter. If somebody thinks that they'll get a reaction out of you and that's what they want out of the game, then that's going to happen. The end.
Ass gonna ass.
There's just things that they can mitigate in, say, certain areas or whatever, so they can't do that literally everywhere you go. But it's gonna be impossible to eliminate that with the nature of the game that it is.
And that's why the insurance system's in place too. Well, go ahead.
Well, there could also be so the level of after grief support is quite important. So they probably can't get rid of all of the edge cases in Star Citizen of griefing. Like as I said, if someone's got enough money, they can keep on ramming interests into you. That sort of stuff. So that after grief support would be like, yes, we can ban people that are clearly griefing, or we can partly ban them or whatever, but you need to create a video of that and send it in to us. So you go, oh great, no worries, I'll take screenshots or whatever. So as long as they've got a system where they can go, these edge cases can be dealt with, then that's okay. It's like, at the time, yeah, it's a bit shitty that you're being griefed, so you just take a break for 2 hours while that guy fucks off, and then you get that video out and you know that it's going to be dealt with. The idea is obviously they want to mitigate most of the main cases of griefing, and that's just the edge cases. So,
well, if you defend yourself against a guy like that and kill him, and that's why the insurance stuff is important. I know a lot of people were groaning about it a couple weeks ago, but that insurance place is in system. So if someone's being stupid and instead of getting wrecked, they're going to be on a 24-hour list waiting for the ship trying to get it back. So it's like kind of bittersweet, because it could be bad for some of the players, you know, who are trying to play right, not grief people, and you got some who sitting around and just trolling and blowing people up in a starter zone or whatever. But we'll have to see how that turns out.
Moving forward, Oraka says, do you think we'll see parts of patch 3.1 and 3.2 merged in some way, or do you think they might just go full on Delta Patcher and release items as and when they are ready?
Hopefully full on Delta Patcher.
Yeah.
So I'm
hoping Delta Patcher for any of the asset stuff, any of the back end stuff is the big patches.
Okay.
Yeah. That's in a perfect world of patching to me would be.
Yeah, instead of waiting for ships for every patch.
Exactly. There's no reason,
sometimes stuff is sitting there for months done and just came and getting the engine to the next patch, which is ridiculous. We could have more content, even better for content creators too.
No, this is what I'm talking about, right? Weapons, vehicles, missions, anything that doesn't rely on new tech coming in and that we already have the existing tech for, and they just want to put in more assets of it, put it in. Weapon skins, ship skins, all of the sub flare and that kind of stuff would be fantastic. Magnetron GW2 says, do you guys think they should let us upgrade our buggy if bought with real life cash to a different vehicle as we can with ships already? So do you think that they should have modules, I think is what he's going to, instead of having to buy the individual ships?
Well, that's another thing on the Tumblr that wasn't real clear, because it almost seemed like you could have modules and swap it out kind of later down in the future.
Well, the FAQ went up today, right? I don't know if that's covered in that.
It's in there. It's in there. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, because that's a question I would like to know with that.
While Board's looking that up.
It sort of is. Are the Cyclone variants modular? Can we just swap the boxes out on the base model to make variants? While this system is not currently available in game, it is something we're interested in exploring once the time comes. When the Cyclone is added to the game, we can expect them to function as variants for the time being. So in the short term, variants. In the long term, probably modular.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so you'll be asked out buying a whole pack, and this thing could be modular down the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
That concept, it was just a lot of scratching my head with. I don't know that one.
Our next question's from Lyrium, and I really like this question. He says, "Love the podcast, guys. What are your guys' opinion on not being able to melt Voyager direct purchases? I think they should have allowed us to melt them ever since they came out with a rec system. I agree 1000%. Weapons change." There's a really good example is I wouldn't have a Grey Cat, let alone two of them.
Yeah. I got two Grey Cats.
I have two Grey Cats. I'd rather have a Tumbril than a Grey Cat. But I can't do anything about it. So hopefully that's something that they can go in and change. Because I have a bunch of weapons I'm never going to use. I remember when the Rattlers came out. The Rattlers came out the same day as they upgraded the Cutlass stuff, and I didn't know that the Rattlers came on those Cutlasses. I don't know if they're coming on the future ones, but and I didn't, other future ships I got, so I went and bought them, and I do not need them. So things like that cost a fair bit amount. I think I have a few $100s in Voyager direct purchases. I would like to be able to melt that. I don't want any of it. I bought
all the paint jobs for the Grey Cat. And then once I found out about the paint system, I'm like, I'm assed out because, I've got a whole bunch of nothing paint schemes.
Not only that, then you also have things like the workbench and stuff, which had a function back in the day, which I went and bought. I bought all of that stuff thinking, okay, this is how you're going to be tuning weapons and stuff like that. And that has changed. With the introduction of the science ships and stuff like that. So I think it's something that they need to address sooner rather than later.
Especially with the Grey Cat, because no one knows. Because I remember on, one of the Developer Friday thingies, whatever they do, Orlando was like, right now, we don't even know if Grey Cat has LTI, that one, or the Ursa when it was sold, because it never came with LTI.
Well, Ursa sometimes comes with LTI, but sometimes doesn't, right? In a package, if it comes in one of the packages with a constellation, then it came with LTI. But if it wasn't in that package, then it doesn't have LTI. So it's something that they kind of need to freak out or figure out, before people freak out.
Yeah, when they sold it by itself, the Ursa Rover and the Grey Cat never had LTI. Now, now you're going to have it if you buy the Mega Pack. You're for sure going to have LTI with the other options and this Cyclone one.
This is a problem with what they're doing with their store stuff in general. It's all overly convoluted. It's all overly complex for no reason. It is my opinion, and I bring this up several times, and I'll bring it up again. Every ship you buy should come with the game. If that means that the base minimum ship is $45, then the base minimum ship is $45. Every ship that you purchase should give you access to the game, period. You're backing the game, you should have it. You shouldn't have to worry about, now that they're changing all these CCUs and everything and all this other stuff, that's like, oh, I need to have a game package, I want this specific ship, even though it does a specific job, and now I don't have the game because I had to melt my game package for it, or whatever. It just confuses people, it makes it difficult. Then you have Voyager Direct and all the issues with that as well.
Yep.
Simplify it.
They confuse us even more with the CCU only the ground vehicle stuff.
Yeah, and there's all that.
So it just got more confusing.
I kind of understand where they're coming with that. To go off on a little tangent, I think that they don't want anybody to have a game package that doesn't have a ship. So if somebody upgraded their only ship as an Aurora to a Tumbril, do you see where the issue could be there? They don't have a ship, they only have that.
Well, the rover, I don't know. I have a rover, but I think you were able to CCU that, I think.
No, you weren't. I tried to.
You weren't?
Yeah,
okay, never mind.
Because I have a Mustang that I don't want. Or I wanted to just change one of my 8 Dragonflies to one, and I couldn't. Moving forward, do you guys... sorry, another question from Lyrium. Or Sally Sal, sorry. Which Tumbril Cyclone is the one for you? I like the base model. If I was to get one, I would get the base model.
Oh, for the Cyclone?
Yeah, what's your favorite one?
A Cyclone, whatever.
Recon.
Yeah, I would say the reconnaissance one. It seems like that's the best bet to have. I like the TR one though too.
Yeah, not to be the most plain, but I think the AA one is kind of the one I'm looking forward to seeing the most and seeing how effective it is. I think you're going to need a whole small army of them though to take down an Aurora.
It's the original missing link.
Yeah.
It's the first in the chain of missing links between ground and air combat, and it's very exciting, and it'll be great to see it used, and hopefully it will be able to make people think twice. But yeah, maybe you do need a horde of them. Maybe just using them at the right time is good enough though. So we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. We are going to go in a speed round. Let's try not to make the answers too long for this. Here we go. How do you think they will deal with orgs' finances and ship sharing? Do you think they'll implement some kind of shared bank account hangar or something? Not sure how that'll work. Yes, there will be an org thing overarching, and it'll be sort of managed through Spectrum, I believe is what they're aiming to do, right? Where orgs can own ships and locations and stuff like that. Do you guys have anything to add to that? Not really.
Sounds about right.
Another question is, I can never kill anything in a Connie or Starfarer because they're so big and lumbering, and smaller ships are so much faster. Even with fully manned turrets, it's a bloodbath every time. How can they balance things so we're not totally defenseless against enemy ships when flying a big ship, other than always have to fly with an escort? Escort, number 1. They're reworking turrets, number 2.
You are going to be relative. If you're flying without an escort in a big ship and combat ships come and go, I want your stuff, you're pretty fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to have avoided that path. You need to be clever. You need to be able to talk about certain situations. You need to have big turrets. You need escorts. There's loads of things you can do. But if they turn up and then next to you and they go, give us your stuff, you're not going to go, well, I couldn't get away from them. Like, that's unbalanced. That's not unbalanced. That's you being an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be prepared.
Zeus Noxy says, with 3.0 bringing cargo trading and a bunch of new missions, what do you think the new UEC sync will be? You can buy that heavy armor, a couple player weapons, and a couple ship weapons, then what? First, to make 1 billion a UEC challenge. I hope. I'm not expecting it. I'm definitely not holding my breath. I hope that we're going to start to be able to buy ships soon in game. And those could be the big UEC syncs. I'm not holding my breath. I don't think they're going to do it. I would love to be proved wrong.
That needs to be a thing because we need to balance how long it takes, how much money it takes to get these ships and all that fun stuff. So it needs to be in soon.
Our next question's from Kita. How do you think the general reception will be from backers if 3.0 doesn't make it before Gamescom? They'd be angry. They'll be angry. They'll be real angry.
Yeah,
I think on stage, man.
I'm not expecting it to be necessarily live. They may miss that, but I can guarantee I will put a lot of things on the line to say that they'll give P2 access to everybody by Gamescom if that's what they're at.
Yeah, people are pissed right now. So I can imagine it's gonna amplify if it's not there by Gamescom.
GM Warlord says, do you want your NPC to be corrupted and paid to kill you? Nope. No. I don't want that.
I mean, I would if there was a way that you could catch on.
It also
if I can't catch on to him, no. Like facial expressions and stuff. Like what was that game? LA Noire. Like you could see when someone was like lying and stuff.
That was so obvious though. It's like catch them out in a lie and they'd be going.
Yeah.
You think he's lying?
Hey, some people can't catch on.
They could be more subtle.
Get got by your NPC.
The big thing for me is the way that they've sort of talked about the AI system stuff is, especially with the, once again, this goes back to the convolution of selling stuff. If you have extra game packages, they said that's going to be extra accounts that you can make NPCs, and to have those things that you technically own be able to backstab you and fuck you over doesn't make a lot of sense. So that is the big thing that I would say no. Otherwise, if that wasn't in there, I would say, yeah, you should. There should be other players that should be able to try and influence AI and stuff like that, even if they work for you or whatever. Citizen Sandman says, how are we going to individually take missions from mission givers like Miles Eckhart without a crowd line forming in front of them? I can't imagine how it will work the way they show in the videos of a player having one-on-one with them. I guess we'll find out in 3.0.
You will find out in 3.0. They are testing different ways of doing it.
Yeah, I
think it's going to be a
no idea.
clusterfuck. It's going to be like a circle jerk around Eckhart.
Ooh.
Dr. Mooks says, hey guys, a couple of months back, the F7A received a complete rework, new chassis, etc. Do you think these changes will be applied to the new model of the Super Hornet, which will also be attainable? Right now, the F7CM rework was mostly just item 2.0 and texture stuff. Still some clipping issues, though, like landing gear. I think they replaced the landing gear with the new landing gear, the compression stuff on all the ships. It says,
Super
thanks.
Hornet did get a rework, though.
It did. All the Hornets got a rework. Do you think we're going to see those new Hornets coming in with 3.0?
Are they not already in?
I thought they were in.
I thought they were in as well. I didn't really notice.
I remember seeing a video on it.
I don't know, because I would have swapped my older Hornet to a newer one. I don't think they're available.
No, it was a free upgrade for all.
It was automatic. It was a modeling update.
No, because I thought they were keeping in the old version and retexturing it, and then they also had the new 2947 version.
They're going to be doing that with some ships, but like the Aurora rework and the Hornets rework that they did is an update to them.
Okay, I thought they had two versions of them.
No,
and they were the exact same. They just looked different.
Hornet though. It's not the F7. That's the
F7A.
Hornet.
The F7A.
Okay,
yeah. And that was why they were updating in the first place.
But they got a skin coming out for it, but it's not going to perform like an F7A. If whoever was lucky enough to get the skin back then. Okay,
last 9 questions. Windlord says, hi guys, I've missed the podcast. Seems like ages. I know it's only been a week. I joined late, so I missed if you talked about it. With the article from PC Gamer showing controllable walking speed via mouse wheel scroll and the rendered texture for VoIP communications also being demonstrated to them, what other game mechanics do you think they have secretly been developing in the background without letting us know? Do you think these may come earlier than we would imagine?
I'm just glad PC Gamer's eating some of that humble pie. That's all I have to say about that one.
Well, so some of the reviewers are obviously enjoying the game. That's what it is, and I'm looking forward to that PC Gamer article in PC Gamer.
No, but it was interesting that I seen that in that article that you can control the walking with your mouse wheel. I didn't know anything about that, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff that they're not even telling us about that we're going to have to find out on our own. So,
and it's little subtle things like that, right? Like, are there going to be other things that come in with the stamina system or whatever that we just haven't thought about and they just haven't brought up, or they brought up in such like a subtle way? Like, they bring up these things like the procedural cities thing, such a subtle, like, nonchalant, oh yeah, procedural cities, and then just continue on to something else.
That's huge, though.
I know it's huge.
You can't just drop a bomb like that and just go on.
But that's the thing, is they do, right? So who knows? Giran says, we all know we will see 3.0 at Gamescom, but do you think we could expect a surprise like a playable demo of Squadron 42 or something more expected for CitizenCon? I think Squadron 42 is going to be a CitizenCon thing.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring some action
but
there too.
If that's their last absolute chance to show anything Squadron 42 for those backers that are really looking forward to it, because I know a lot of people are really pissed off with the lack of information of what's going on with that. And that's an understatement.
True. Oh, yeah.
Cataphor says, have CIG said anything about being able to buy ships in the PU for 3.0? Nope.
No. We know we're going to be able to buy systems and weapons and lots of new FPS stuff, but they haven't specified whether we're able to buy vehicles and ships. So we don't know.
Royal Rose says, did you guys hear anything new in the last few months on create your own pirate subscriber perk? If not, what do you expect players will be able to customize?
Huh. That was a perk?
Yeah. Yeah, if you were a subscriber for a year... Hi. If you were a subscriber for a year, one of the perks was you got to create a pirate.
Yeah.
Well,
I imagine...
Million wants his pirate perk to look like this.
I like that AA... That's one of the V3 rocket tumbrils.
This is the new cycler, so they stole the idea from my son. I need in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that what they could do is they could just say, hey, you know, make another character slot on all the accounts that have that perk, and just let them use a character customizer to make it. And use the character customization thing to put it in there and have name suggestions or whatever, and then they could do it that way. That would be the easiest way for them to do it. But I don't know how many subscribers or how many things that they would need to go through, but that would be the best way, right? Have everything unlocked for the customization for that specific account. No, don't make it a playable account. Just make it just so you can go in with a character customizer. You put it in, you save it. That's it. Maybe not even name it, but you just put it in, save it, whatever. You're good to go.
I mean, yeah, that would work.
It just seems like the fastest, easiest way to do it, or have something on the website that it's built into the website. We all know that Turbulent does crazy shit with their website, so maybe you implement the character customizer on the website and have it go through that. Cataphor says, have you heard anything more about the Prowler or the Hull ships? We know they're working on the Hull series, right? The Hull C and stuff.
Yeah, that was in a couple of videos. The Hull C was. Well,
the Hull C, I believe they are just finishing off the back of it now before moving on to polish and then damage states, derelict and stuff like that. So it's quite far along the Hull C.
Mm-hmm.
Hull A and B, we don't really know. I assume they will be done at the same time, the A, B, and C, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Prowler. I don't think the Prowler's coming until next year, to be honest.
Yeah, the Prowler probably won't come until late 2018.
That's far out.
Yeah. Quick Kicks says, regarding ground vehicles, in the last con demo, missions provided ground transportation in mid-mission. Do you think they will implement ground-to-air deterrence to promote ground travel versus a gaggle of spaceships stacked on a mission point? They have shown turrets on ground that can shoot into the air, so yes. Even if they don't have the AA Tumbril in, they will have turrets that can do the same thing for specific areas. So yes, 100% I think that we're going to see combined arms missions. Excuse me. Goofy Wizard said, this may have already been touched upon, but how do you guys feel the network for more players on one server in the future of Star Citizen? Worried or not worried? I think this is the thing that will make or break Star Citizen and is the most important thing for the game, hands down, period, the end.
Hands down, period, the end.
The end. The most important thing. Because if they can't have multiple people in there, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, we need...
It's irrelevant.
It's a multiplayer game.
It's like... Then it's like, okay, well, it should have just been Squadron 42 from the beginning.
Yeah, because think about it. 24 players in one server. Hell, some ships take more than 24 players to even fill up and run. So it'd be a major fail if they don't have that in. So that's very important.
The good news is they haven't really started working seriously on it yet or implementing any of those serious changes. So the horizon is still bright, but if they fuck that up, that will bring the... If they're unable to do that, the game will be dead. Period.
That's kind of scary. They haven't been working on it. I mean, hopefully...
No, I'm sure they've been working on it. I'm just saying that they've not implemented it yet.
Okay.
So that's it. Now, No Studio has a question for me. How long have I been streaming? And will you be the first one to get to Yella on stream? I've been streaming since May 15th of 2014. And I've streamed 13,005 hours. And will I be the first one to get to Yella on stream? I don't know. It depends. Unlikely, because there are people that have faster downloads than me. So
that's why Source is such a pro streamer.
Yeah.
Them hours, bro.
So I may not be the first to yell. I will be the first for other things, I'm sure. There'll be other people that get the first for other stuff. It's not always about being the first for things, but it will be interesting. I am going to do a 24-hour stream, though, for my first thing, and I am hoping to be the first to circumnavigate a moon on foot or by vehicle, depending on what one's more reasonable to do. But I am planning to be the first to do that.
I will be participating as best I can in the 24-hour stream and trying to do some more stuff after. Keep it going, possibly in shifts with sleeping.
We'll be doing a couple 24-hour streams if their schedule stays on track, because the first day that they're aiming for the PTU to go live, the first wave of PTU backers, is my birthday. So if that's the case, I'll be doing a 24-hour stream for my birthday, and then I'll be doing a 24-hour stream for a charity stream as well. So either or, whatever one comes first is the one I'm going to be doing, and then I'll be following it up with the one afterward.
Speaking of first, whoever yells first on BoredGamer's video, congratulations. Because I already know that happened, so when this gets on YouTube, congratulations.
People get so angry about it.
They do.
Listen, to be fair, dude, we're 2 hours in. There's already firsts on this post. For sure. They haven't even gotten to this part in the podcast. It's already on there.
As it drops, man. As it drops.
Congratulations.
last two questions from Bang Chow. Do you think hiding your identity, spoofing your identity in Star Citizen to be more of a headache than a feature, and making it potentially scrapping the idea? No, I think it'll be something that'll be like a Mobiglass app.
Hi.
Hi.
You're ruining the stream, sir.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay. So, Junior wants to be seen.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Hi.
Guys, can I get some hey guys in chat?
Yeah.
Oh, Gio.
Oh man,
how did you produce a lovely child? I don't know how, Gio. Don't actually explain it to me.
I give you some tips.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Is he saying butts?
It's not you saying bots. I don't know. What are you saying, son?
Bugs.
Bugs.
I don't know what that means. Bugs. Bug smasher.
Do you hate bots? Hate bots?
Look, the chat's saying hi to you. Look. See over there? Look. See chat? He's amazed. He's like, oh.
Oh my god.
Cutest redacted episode ever. I just want to say that. So
that's not cute.
Yeah. Bang Chow with our last question. Do you think CIG will limit the number of beacons you can spawn, limiting the clutter spam, or making it super expensive to use?
Oh, they might be a maintenance cost. I mean, you have to visit them to recharge their...
Right. Or you may only be able to have so many at a time going.
Yeah.
Like 3 or something, or 5 or whatever.
Okay.
And he says, thanks, love you all. Well, thank you, man.
I love you all as well.
We love you all as well. And that brings us to the end of our questions for today. Another huge shout out to Gio for not only joining us on the podcast, but providing this wonderful giveaway, which you can get into by typing !Gio in chat. And BoredGamer, we'll start with Gio. Where can people find you, and what are you up to in the next little bit?
Oh.
Other than dropping your child.
Okay, so I think I heard the last part of that. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitch. Twitter's GioGetMoney TV. I had to change it because my old Twitter got wrecked. So, yes, those are the places you can find me.
There we go. And there's links for all of his stuff in chat. Make sure you click on those. Go give him a follow. Really awesome stuff. BoredGamer, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
BoredGamerUK on the social medias and on the YouTube and on the Twitches. That's where you can find me for Star Citizen content. I am going to be semi-busy this weekend. It's my best mate's wedding, and I'm effectively master of ceremonies. So I have to do a lot of stuff and plan a lot of things and make sure everyone's in the right areas. So I'm really busy with that at the moment. But I'll be getting videos up on, you know, the stuff we've talked about during the podcast, your Jimbo. Sandy was doing a multiplayer performance test on her Twitter, so we'll talk about that probably, the clarification on the systems, all that sort of jazz. I'll be getting that up all by the weekend, and I love you guys. You're the best.
There you go. And for myself, I will be playing some Star Marine after this. Been playing a lot of that. We still have that giveaway going. We have about 15 minutes left on that. I will be switching. We're not going to be going offline. I'm just going to switch over. If either of you, Bored or Gio, want to join me for a round or two for Star Marine.
I'll do a round 2 if I go into Fortnite.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'm going to mute myself here on Discord, and I will see you guys here in a few moments. If you're going to stick around, just jump down to Game Room 1. Once again, a huge shout-out to GioGetMoney. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.
Love you guys.